Let me share my screen in a second and let us get started. Okay. All right. So a very good evening to you all, and thank you so much for spending your morning or your afternoon or your evening with us today. Let me tell you for a fact, we do appreciate the time, and we appreciate the fact that you value the team and also the session. So thank you so much for joining. In today's session, we're going to be unpacking a couple of things which I think you would find extremely helpful. So please, now is the time to grab a seat. If you're here to grab a seat, call a friend, send a meeting invite to someone, and let them know we are about to get started. So basically, if you're keen to learn about professional growth, professional development, career advancement, and how you can really make a start. If you're on that journey wanting to make a start, or if you haven't even started at all, or you're currently on that path, this session would provide you with some more clarity. And I have the honors to go on this journey with you, with the other co-hosts as well. So I've got Noah and I've got Tosin on the call as well, who would be talking us through a couple of things in relation to what are some of the key things that we need to keep in mind when it comes to our ability to advance ourselves in our career, ability to progress from a career point of view, being in Australia, lots of restart process, how can you navigate those things, and what are the key nuggets or key things that you need to keep in mind. Acknowledging that there are a lot of things today that some people will do it for 6 months, whereas you could have done that in like 3 weeks. So for lack of knowledge or for lack of information or for lack of direction. So we really, where possible, we really, really want to reduce that in a way that you are getting the right information, you are getting the most recent information, you are constantly on your toes to learn the best ways to do things or the right ways to do things. There's always different ways to skin a cat, right? But oftentimes knowing the exact way to skin that particular color of cat sometimes can make all the difference. So, and that's exactly what we're going to be talking to you about today. But in case you're new on this call and you're wondering, hey, I've just seen this invite. I don't actually really know a lot about Sync Skills. Who are they and what do they do? And who is this person talking to me? I'm going to take about 10 to 15 seconds to tell you what Sync Skills, who we are and what we do. So basically, for the new joiners, again, you're welcome. I see a lot of new people joining the call. You're very welcome. Thank you so much for spending your evening or your morning or your day with us. So just for not to repeat myself, but for any new joiners today, Sync Skills is a net tech company here in Australia where we're focused on supporting immigrants to build their skills, especially in the no-code tech space. So for us, that's extremely important, that you're in Australia and you do not have to settle for any job that just comes your way. Look, like I always say time and time, there is dignity in every job. But if you so desire to pursue something else and you desire to pursue an actual career that would not require you to trade your time for money, as an example, or a career that doesn't put your health at risk, as an example, then we would definitely be privileged to work with you. That's really what we do. So if you're wanting to learn about business analysis, Scrum Master, product owner, project management, we can support you on that journey. And now that we have that off the way, let's get into the crux of today. Please let me know if you've got certain expectations of today's session. I would love to see it in the comment section. So if there was anything in particular that you would love for us to demystify, I would be more than happy to answer those questions in the comments. So please leave it in the comment. So basically, in this session, we will talk and touch on a couple of really, really important things. Like I said, the importance of upskilling. How can you upskill? What are some of the laws of, you being able to attain success? What are some of the key things that you need to keep in mind when it comes to professional success, when it comes to career? We would also be side by side comparing the difference between a job and a career. And of course, this session is never going to be complete without telling you without bringing you rather some good news from some of our tech stars, at Sync Skills, what they've been up to in terms of securing jobs across different organizations and, going ahead and doing really amazing things. And as always, we'll always have something really nice for you. So there's always, so please stay tuned. We've got something for you at the end of the session, and you would get an opportunity to ask us a question. Okay, so please, now is the time to share the meeting invite with your friends, with your connect, and just let everyone know that we are on and we have started. So without wasting further time, I'll get Noah to take us on the journey of upskilling and what does that even really mean? And what do we need to keep in mind when we think about the word upskilling, when we think about advancing, when we think about, pivoting and doing something different from what we're currently doing. So over to you, Noah, when you are ready.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tayo. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, really loud and clear. Thanks. From my hand.
Thank you. So my name is Noah, and if you've not met before, I'm really excited to have you on this call, spend you your time, and we promise to definitely make sure that this is worth your time. As Taya said, we'll be going through a lot of things to educate you and really share strategies to help you thrive. Um, we're talking about you upskilling and thriving today, and but it's important for you to also like get a bit of context about who we are. Right. So my name is Noah, as I said, and I'm a career coach and mentor. What really fires me up is when I'm able to impact people and help a lot of people really gain and build skills that will help them transform their life. I just want to speak to my experience doing this for the last couple of years, especially like in the last 2 years here in Australia, particularly. Um, I've been able to work with the team to be able to train a lot of people in hundreds, right? And we've seen immense result. Maybe you've come across some of our success stories before. That would be good. But if you're new, yeah, you'll definitely be hearing from some of our success stories over the years, which is very exciting. Um, but what we do is really in line with the theme of the day. For us as Same Skills, which is a company we started like 2 years ago, the deep mission and vision for us is to make sure that we help Africans based here in Australia to thrive. And for us, we ask ourselves, what do we mean, for you to thrive? Right? So thriving means different things. It's not just, in terms of your financial strength. It doesn't mean, oh, you now have like $1 million and yeah, you're thriving. We want you to think about that in a more diverse way in terms of your health, in terms of your mental health, in terms of happiness, in terms of being able to have the freedom to do the things that really matter to you. So being able to thrive for us, where we can control is in terms of educating and helping people build skills. And like Tara said, we've helped a lot of people build skills in roles such as business analyst, product owner, project manager, testing, um, over the years, which is beautiful. But for us, we've seen that a lot of people say, well, I've heard about a training, I've done an online course in my effort to try to upskill, and it's not working for me, right? Or a lot of people, when you investigate why they're trying to upskill, you see that it is from a place of, oh yeah, this is kind of like trending. So I think I should also just jump on the trend to upskill. And we say that that is not the correct way to to approach things, right? First, so that's why we're asking the question today. Is upskilling really just a trend? And that's the question we all need to reflect on to start with, because without that, there's no point to all of this, right? So I have seen firsthand how people's life has transformed, right? They were doing X job before that gave them a lot of stress, pain, and suffering emotionally, mentally, and physically, right? And I've seen a different person now going through that journey of upskilling and building skills and increasing their value. And I see how they're living better now, how they are more joyful, they are more fulfilling. And that is why we're asking the question today: is upskilling just a trend to you, right? For us, we say that upskilling is a mindset, is a whole new way of doing things, is a whole new idea of saying, hey, um, there's this vision I have for my life. I want to be X, right, in the next couple of years, and I need to get and build the skills to help me become that. That is extremely important for you to understand. So, for example, you may say, oh, I want to start a company that sells clothes, fashion items in the next 5 years, right? Upskilling means you would then go and say, okay, I know my goal. I need to know what does it mean to actually start that business in 5 years, right? What are the skills that I need? What are the things that I need to keep in mind? What are the challenges that I may likely face, right? And when you dissect all of that, you work your way back. Um, to be able to create system that will help you to be able to achieve that. Else, it is just going to be a goal that is just like a wishful thinking. And for us, we're saying that it is very important for you not to think about upskilling as just a trend. It is really a compass to point you to success. So whatever success means to you, whatever you define as success, you need to upskill to reach that level. We say that you don't rise to the levels of your goals. Like, I'm sure some of my team members would have been tired of me saying that, because I believe in it so much. You may set a goal, but if you don't have the system to achieve that goal, then it is just a wish. So we are saying that upskilling is about increasing your value so that you can, be able to deliver more value. And we also have a belief that for you to make money, it means you're providing a lot of value. Now, think about the work you do today. You're adding value in whatever you're doing. That is why you're getting paid for that. So, the more you can upskill and increase your value, the better you'll be able to command money. Somebody said, a very wealthy person said, money is everywhere. You just have to look for it. Now, some people look for money in devious ways. Some people look for money by trading their time solely for that, right? And you need to ask yourself, why is my time worth X amount and somebody else's time is worth way more than that? Some people's time is worth $50 or $100 per hour or $200 per hour. Why some people's 1 hour is worth $20,000, $200,000. Why do you think that is? It is about value. The value that they produce in that hour matches would make sense for somebody to commit $200,000 per hour. It's just like if I'm trying to get a coach, I'm trying to get a coach to help me with my business, to help me to get like 100 um to get to $100 million. And this coach already has multiple business, has helped multiple people to make $100 million, right? So if this person says, hey, I'm gonna help you in 2 hours and my time is what, and I'm gonna charge you $200,000, and I know that for sure I'm going to be able to make my goal of $100 million. Would you, the question is, will I pay for that or not? Right? So value is very important, and for us to get to that level where we can produce so much value, it is important to understand that you need to be able to upskill to that point. So it's a combination of experience, skills, and what you really have to offer. Next slide, please. All right. So with that in mind, please, if you have any question, please pop it in the chat. Happy to answer it. Um, so why should we upskill? I'd already touched on some of the reasons why it's important for us to upskill. Uh, please, but just to point key point out, right? The first one I want to talk about is that you need to upskill for general self-improvement. Like I said, you need to, if you want to improve your value, you want to increase your value, you need to improve yourself to that point of value, right? So, for example, the analogy I gave you, nobody would pay for 200,000 for 2 hours session if you're not going to match it 100 times over in a sure way, then you have track record and evidence to showcase that. So it's about self-improvement, right? And then the next one is about, you know, we're in the age of technology. Definitely, for you to upskill, you need to also, yeah, you be able to complement new technology. When the age of technology, look around you in every single facet of life right now, you see technology is a big part of it. So the question is, am I actually positioning myself for the job of the future? Am I in those conversation, right? Like the second industrial revolution, where people is more of manufacturing, code, and all of those manual, labor, and the change that happened in the .com era, where we now have flexible work, computing work. There are people that are business analysts. They sit down in front of their laptop, and some people feel like, hey, they're actually doing scam, right? Which is not true. But the key thing here is that technology evolves every time. You need to be in that wave of what is happening to be able to complement your skills, be able to complement, increase your value, so you can also be able to position and command more and get opportunity. Please, can we stay in that slide, please? And the next one is about increase your earning power. As I said already, you need to be able to upskill so that you can be more, add more value, and then in turn you can even make more money. It's super important. And if you have money, I see money as a tool for freedom, right? When you have money and somebody is trying to get your time, you'll be able to, dictate exactly how you want to spend your time. For example, and this is why we say we don't want people to continue to trade their time for money. So rich people, they use their money to buy time. And you may want to say how, right? So think about all their mundane tasks that, for example, maybe I will have to do my chores for like 2 hours in a day. Somebody that can afford it will just outsource that out. So they have more time and energy to do something else, the things that they really love to do. They may have people booking their flight, booking their holidays. They have people sending their emails. They have people, carrying their laptop, doing different things. Right? So they are buying back time, they are buying back energy. So they focus on strategic work and things that really makes them happy, makes them have leverage, makes them tick. So we really want to get to a position where we're in a career path where we can start to buy back our time a bit more. It is super important. Some people go to a job where they literally, it's almost like a prison mindset. Like they look at the time, when is this shift finishing, right? How many hours left, right? For example, some of us that work in tech, you can be at work and be on your couch sometimes and be working, or go and do laundry, or go and cook, or just watch Netflix for 1 hour to cool your brain, or do some things, right? Go walk around and clear your head for a bit. So there's still a bit more flexibility there. But at the end of the day, upskilling gives you all sort of leverage. Next slide. So upskilling is a non-negotiable. You need to actually upskill, and it's not just a one-time thing. You need to continuously upskill so that you can achieve your goals. Now, you want to ask yourself again, for me to upskill, or for somebody that is looking to upskill, what are some of the key traits that you need to have? First, you need to have a vision for yourself. Like I said earlier, you want to start a business, or you want to become a business analyst, or you want to become a data analyst in next 2 months or 3 months or 1 year. Whatever your vision is, you need to look at your vision. Who do I want to be? What do I want to achieve in a couple of, whatever time, month, weeks, years? So you need to have a vision for your life. Who do I want to be at maybe short term, long term, mid term? You need to have that vision. And that vision has to be something that really would give you, again, not just monetary freedom, as we said, not just, yes, I'm making 200,000 per year, right? You need to look at other aspects of your life. So health is very important, right? Um, Health is super important, guys. And I can tell you from experience, you may make all the money and you get to a point where you're like, what is now the point? I don't have the health to actually enjoy this money. And that's why I hear some people like, oh, I'll do anything. He's paying me the money. He's paying me. I'm like, I just laugh, right? How you get the money also matters. Because if you're going shift to shift, you're not resting. And there's a process of recovery that happens when you rest, which is a must. But some people flex it and say, oh, I have not rested, I've done shift back with, I'm jacking, I'm making a lot of money, right? And you're not really paying attention to your body signal, your health, the implication, that intangible thing of when you're leaving the house and your children, if you have, or your partner, that emotional, oh, you're going, oh, you're not spending time with us, right? I work all the time with my family. We work remotely at home. But sometimes when I have to go, like yesterday, I was going for a conference. It was hard for me because I was not going with my wife and my children. That moment when I had to like just drive out, it was emotional for me. And I'm like, oh, wow, I'm actually very privileged because this rarely happens. But I know I have spoken to a lot of people who have come to sign up to our program and they're like just unloading. Like, I'm so tired. Every time I have to pass the laundry to get to work, to go for another shift, and my children, I can't look at them. They're like, oh, you're going again. You didn't take us to the park. So those things are very important. But very quickly, because of time, you also need to be able to unlearn, right? What are the norms? What are the limiting beliefs? What are the things that I've heard? Oh, I'm not good enough. I can never work in tech. I don't have the skills. Oh, I've left school for 10 years. Now I'm not able to learn anything again. Oh, I'm too old now. I can never learn any skills. Oh, I've heard it all, right? I need to have this certification and that certification. I will not be able to get a job in tech. Immigrants don't work here. So many things like that. You need to unlearn, or I've learned a concept. This is how it is done. This is how it must be. You need to be able to unlearn, and you need to have humility as well to submit and learn. If you don't have that, you're not be able to acquire new knowledge and resilience. So many people in our community, we emphasize resilience because just like life, you know, the journey can be ups and down, and that's where we differentiate. We are always there. For example, some people may suffer miscarriage or go through health issues, or and that would threaten to derail them from whatever process of upskilling they are on, and it's always tough. I've seen it a lot. So for us, we always try to provide that support, but resilience is non-negotiable. Ask any successful person in the world, and they will always tell you of a story of resilience, not giving up, despite all the challenges. I still went for a conference yesterday. I said, all these stories, literally all these stories, story of resilience that is just inspiring. Like if you don't face some lows, then truly you will not have any good and resounding story to share with people. That's why I say that even if you're doing something that scares you, it is a sign of good thing, because when you come out at the end of the day successfully, you will have a very resounding story to share. But imagine you're doing something and it's just easy, 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 easy. You should also really question that, is this big enough? Is this legit? And that's why unfortunately, in the world we live, we always want things to happen immediately. We sometimes lack, including myself. I want to do something and get a result. I want to work out now. I want to see on my pack. Sometimes I'm checking. My wife is like, what is happening? Like, hey, I've gone for a session. I'm feeling myself like, hey, where is it? Where is it? Right? We want the result immediately, but it's a process. You will not see it immediately, but you have improved 1%. I assure you, you have improved. The repetition is where the power is, and it compounds. So at the end of the day, the next thing you want is leverage. Who are in your circle, right? Are you talking to people who have done this thing you're trying to do, right? Are you following the right crowd? Who are the people in your circle? They say, show me your friend and I'll tell you who you are, right? I'm trying to build a business, the most impactful black owned business here in Australia. And for me, I know that one strategy is to start to go for events, start to network, start to be in the midst of people, that have done it, that I can learn from. That is what we're talking about. Who are the people in your community? So yeah, those are some of the key traits of upskilling. And it's important for you to appreciate that upskilling is not just a trend. You need to be deliberate about that. And this is not just about tech or no tech. We're just talking about generally why it is very important for you to continuously upskill. Thank you, Tara.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much, Noah. That was extremely powerful. So please, if you're just tuning in, thank you so much. We are still talking about the strategies and some of the important things that you need to keep in mind when it comes to upskilling. So if you could leave us your name and where you've tuned in from, that would be really good. So just following up from what Noah has mentioned, I think that's extremely important when you're thinking about what's the next steps for me. I really want to do something different. I really want to build my skills. I really want to explore a different career path. I'm tired of what I do, basically. Now, the loop that we found out that a lot of people fall into is people focus on the financial gains. So people become driven by the money rather than actually focusing on the how. What do you need to become who you want to become? What are the skills that you need to become a business analyst? What are the skills that you need to become a fashion designer? What are the skills that I need to become a surgeon? All right. Rather than, oh my goodness, surgeons get paid $350,000 per year. That's it. So please, it is extremely important that you are guided by some laws that would support you with that professional success. And the fullness of the bucket of those things would determine how fast you would go. And I'll walk you through what I mean. So as an example, if you look at this visual that we've got on the screen right now, this is literally, the law that guides professional success, pretty much the ladder that you need to climb. And the first thing is knowledge. Now, you may wonder, what does knowledge mean and how does that relate to anything? When you're trying to learn a skill or when you're trying to develop a skill, the focus has to be there as that starts as the beginning. That's the pinnacle of anything. If I'm in a gathering today and, I have a lot of connect, I have a lot of resources, but I don't actually have what it takes to be in that gathering. There's only so much that I can do before someone outs me in there. So how it starts really is the things that you know, which is it starts from the knowledge. You can acquire this in the university. You can acquire this through boot camp. You can acquire, through education. Really, you acquire that knowledge. Now, once you start to use the knowledge that you've acquired, like, that becomes a skill. So that helps you to say, okay, this is what I can do with the skills that I've developed. Now, these two guys, they are your pinnacle. They would be your best friends for life. The people, once you build your knowledge, you have all the knowledge that you need, if you start to develop the skills that is required, that will then cascade to the network effect. So your value increases by the virtue of the skills that you have acquired. The same thing, when you have knowledge and skills, you become such a valuable asset. To Noah's point earlier, why are there some people in this world today that to deliver a 30-minute speech, for as an example, they will get paid $200,000, 30 minutes. And there are people in there that would kill. In fact, there would be a wait list for you to be in the same room with those people. What are they selling? They are selling what you and I don't have, which is skills. They are selling their knowledge, which they've converted they've converted it to developing their skills. So that way, it sits with them. They take it with them anywhere they go to. But the law of effect there is when you build knowledge, right, on the layer of that, where you have knowledge, you get the skills to actually do that particular thing. One, people associate with someone who is skilled. By the virtue of the skills that you acquire, you will then develop a valuable network. Completely being humble about what I'm about to say, but I know that a couple of the things that I do today has put me in rooms that I never thought I would be in. Has put me in situations with people that I only watch on TV. And I'm sure there's a couple of you guys that can relate to that as well on this call. Because of what you know and what you do, it has increased your value. It has also increased the quality of the people around you. All right. Once you have that good quality, that would amount to resources, which some people will call it money, because then you've got the knowledge, you've got the skills. By the virtue of those things, you develop and create a new network for yourself. That network will eventually equate to resourcing in form of money, in form of a lot of other things, the value that would come with that. And of course, with that, you start to build your reputation. So when you look at some known celebrity in Nigeria today, for people who are Nigerians, sometimes you follow their journey and you're just like, sometimes it looks like, oh my goodness, this person just rose to fame. No one just rises to fame. There's a lot of work that you don't see in the background. There's a popular fashion designer in Nigeria. She's so good that people would fly in from overseas. They would fly to Nigeria to go and learn from her. They would go in there. That's someone who decided, hey, I'm going in the path of fashion designing. She could focus on, I just want to get a lot of money. The money will come, but she'll get the money, but eventually she wouldn't have developed the skills that would 10 times, 20 times, or 30 times that money for her. Because at the end of the day, she no longer just sells the clothes, but she also sells the skills that she has built. And that's the real dollar value that I want us to all try and think about. What I want to do right now, I want to develop my skills. I want to learn this thing. Please don't focus on the wrong things. When you focus on these two guys, let me try and use my pen for some direction. So when you focus on these two guys, when you focus on knowledge and skill, these three guys would come naturally. It's just the effect that comes as a result of what you have in them. And why I love the concept of you acquiring knowledge and developing your skills is they are tax-free. If network, resourcing, or reputation, if they leave you, your knowledge and your skill there for you, it would attract these things back to you. Noah was sharing a story of someone to me yesterday, and this person is serial entrepreneur, really wealthy man. During COVID, this man was losing $200,000 every single day. Even as I was hearing the story, my chest was tightening up a little bit. It was losing money, $200,000 every single day during COVID, because he's into real estate. And as part of what I think Australian government did at the time, they were supporting some students who couldn't work. So they had subsidized the rent fee that people had to pay. Whilst that was good for the recipient of that subsidy, the owners were crumbling and crashing. Now, he began to lose resources. But guess what brought him back? The skill that helped him to build that business in the first place is the same thing that he used to get a lawyer, to try and sort out, try and seek government funding, try and write letters and try and see how they can bring his business back. So it is always extremely dangerous to focus on just, I want to transition to tech because they pay $150. Those things are good. But if you focus on those things and you don't focus on the right things, which is you building the skills required, then the journey is going to be quite long. I say to people, like for people who are like on the Think Skills team, they would know when you come to us today and say, "Hey, I want to transition to tech," and I think I even mentioned a bit of that earlier. We ask you, "What's your why? What is driving that?" If it's simply because hey, a lot of people are doing it, or because it's the things in trend right now, that's not a really great mindset to have on board because you're not focusing on who is a business analyst and what do they have. That's what I want to have, not the $150. I want $150. So when you focus on skills, everything is possible. Those skills will eventually equate to dollar figure for you at the end of the day, which brings me to the next thing, which is without understanding what career path should we prioritize? As of today, a lot of people, they're in jobs where they are actually not learning anything. And I know this because they open up to me and they say to me, "Hey, Tayo, I just go to work and sit and watch the time pass by. And oftentimes I sit down there and I cannot wait for 11 p.m. or I cannot wait for the next day." They feel like they are not learning anything. And that breaks my heart because no one wants to be in a job where all they do is sit and just scroll social media all through for 8 hours of your life. As of today, there are things that I would not do. I would literally cry if I missed my way. If I was going, the other day I was going somewhere and I missed my way and GPS gave 30 more minutes. I was so sad. It felt like I had lost money. To me, that felt like money. And that is how precious time is to me. And I know that you probably feel the same way as well. Time is money, time is precious. Time wasted is life wasted. Why would I prioritize a career path where I am not acquiring any form of knowledge? I'm not acquiring any form of skills. What I know today is what I would know in 2 weeks' time, in 3 weeks' time, in 4 weeks' time. Essentially, what I'm doing is I am dying slowly. The moment you stop learning, you die. So when we talk about thriving, to be honest, money is even like on the bottom of that thriving. Money is literally on the bottom. When we talk about financial freedom, we don't mean, hey, you've got all of the millions in your account. Financial freedom means so many things to different people. Today, I had to go to the office, I think, which is my third time this year that I've had to go to my office to work from the office. I had gone there because we were doing a send forth for one of my leaders. And honestly, when I woke up this morning, I actually said to God, "God, I am super thankful for this job," because I felt a little bit tired. I had to wake up like 5 o'clock. Even at 5 o'clock, I kept on like shutting down the alarm. And it's just my reality. And I was quite thankful for, a career path that allows me, I don't have to travel an hour, I don't have to travel 40 minutes. I literally don't need to go anywhere. But I'm in a place where from the confines of my house, I am adding value. I am being awarded, I, I let's rephrase it. I am being awarded as an high achiever, one out of what almost 30 or 35 business analysts, only 4 people. And I been considered as one of those 4 people who are high achievers. Literally, I have done all of those things from the confines of my home. All right. So I always say to people, I would prioritize a career path where I'm actually learning, a career path that gives me knowledge, a career path that challenges me to learn new things. I don't want to just go to work for the sake of, well, I'm just going there for the money. I'm just going there to pay my bills. And that's fine if you do it for a while. But what we're saying is it gets to a point where you kind of need to start to reevaluate. I need you to do a self-reflection as you're on this call and ask yourself a question. Do I learn anything on the job that I currently do? Or perhaps you want to make it more practical. In the last 1 week that I've gone to work, what have I learned that would help me to advance in this career path that I've chosen? If you haven't learned anything that is in alignment with where you want to go to, then it's time to evaluate and try to see it's time to move away from those things. And you need to come to a reality of, I need to prioritize a career that allows me to develop my knowledge, that allows me to, rather to acquire my knowledge and develop my skills over a career where it is just money focused. All they give you is money. And we've said it, money will come. You need to understand that money it's like a push and effect from something. When you have the main driver of money, those things will compound. So my analogy here, when you've got knowledge and you've got skills, these guys naturally they would follow, because then you would be speaking in rooms where people would listen to you and be like, hey, I want to pay for this person to come to my event. I need to get, this man to come to I need to get this person to speak in this place. So again, it is always important. Please always remember, when you're not learning, you are dying slowly. And it sounds a little bit morbid, but that's the truth. So please, let us keep it in mind that any career path that you want to choose and we want to prioritize, it has to be in a place that affords you the opportunity to build your skills, where you continue to acquire knowledge. And that brings me to the next point, which is more of let's do a reality check. I love to do a temp check. For me, my life is based on strength. I'm very strength focused in my approach. I'm very outcome focused in my approach, and I'm very honest to myself completely. I lay it bare and like, what do I want to do? And I do it in a very realistic manner. It is important that you look inwards and ask yourself these questions that I've got. What do I really want from a career point of view? What's going to make me happy? If I know that in the career path that I want to tread right now, say when I start, given that it is new, if I failed, would I still want to continue, or that would just set me back and I'd be like, hey, this is not for me, I'm done? Would I be ready to accept that failure is a form of feedback? Let's say to people, like you say, a lot of people say to me, hey, Taya, I'm really scared. And I ask them, why are you scared? They're like, yeah, I'm really scared of failing. I'm like, okay, so I'm sure you failed at some point in time. Like, what then happened? Oftentimes, it's always, yeah, I had a bit of a setback, but what happened? Did you rise above it, or did you abandon it and move on to something else? There's three laws to that. When you fail, or when you've experienced some failure, whether you like to see it or not, you would have gotten some feedback there. With failure comes feedback, and with that feedback, you acquire more knowledge, and with knowledge, you would get some experience as well on the way. So you need to ask yourself this question: if I know that I'm going to fail at this thing, would I still love to do it regardless? We don't always succeed at all the things that we do, but we know, we are very clear about the vision. We're very clear about where we're going. So we don't look at setback. If you've listened to some of my podcast or whatnot, I say there are two different sets of people. There are people who see what they want to achieve, and there are people who see what stops them from achieving what they want to achieve. And they are not bad people. It just depends on the type of person you want to be. Do you want to see that goal and set a system in place for you to achieve it? Or do you want to see 1,001 reasons that stops you from pursuing it? Valid question. I ask myself these questions all the time, especially when I'm embarking on something new, or when there's a new project that I need to work on. Now, this one's extremely important, because a lot of people today, would receive a lot of emails, and people would say to us, hey, I'm really sick of the work that I do. I do not have satisfaction. I do not have fulfillment. And that's why I've said, if you repeated the work that you do today, if you did it continuously for the rest of your life, do you think it would give you the life that you want? Or do you think it would give you the opposite of that? These are all things that you can do a self-reflection on it. But please, I think that for us, it's all about being realistic with things and ensuring that we are asking the real questions. There's a power in looking inwards and saying to yourself, hey, is this going to make me happy? I look at the job that I currently do today. Do I want to keep doing this in the next 5 years? Or if I find myself doing this in the next 10 years, would I be happy? Is that going to give me some fulfillment? Very important questions to ask yourself today. With that understanding, we are going to move into something very interesting again, which is dissecting the difference between jobs and career. This may be new to some people on the call because oftentimes they are used interchangeably, and a lot of people actually don't appreciate the difference. So Noah is going to walk us through the differences between jobs, career, where you fit in into this within this pyramid. When you're ready, Noah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tayo. I mean, it's clear as we've projected, really. Job is what pays your bills, and we all need to be in jobs, and we get it. But the thing is, we need to also have that self-awareness that am I in a job that aligns with my career, right? My career path. So career path is a bit more long term, defining the roles, the type of jobs that I do. Do they actually give me leverage? Is it driven by my passion? Is it connected to my long term goals? For example, say you're a doctor in Nigeria, in Kenya, in Ghana, right? And maybe you've moved to Australia. Now you need to actually do some exam to be able to practice and get back on your career track. But if you're doing a job as a support worker or whatever you're doing right now, that is not in line with your goal, to practice to become a doctor, then you can see that there's a divergence there. So job is what you do. It pays your bills, pays your wages. You're looking at the clock. It may be shift work, it may be 8 to 5, it may be whatever arrangement, but there's no long-term connection to what you actually want to do long-term. As I've just given an analogy, it's very important for us to understand the difference. Many people are in jobs and they now maybe like they've now believed that here now that is the only thing available for me. I'm not able to get back on my career. We've seen it many times. We're not telling you something that is fancy, we're telling you real life experience. A lot of people are stuck in jobs that pays they are deeply unhappy, they are not fulfilled, they feel like they're not using their inner their skills and their experience, right, that they've gathered for many years, which is very sad if you think about it. And we're having these conversations to say, hey, if you're a doctor, if you're an accountant, if you're a banker back home, you can reconnect. There's a way to reconnect back to that career path. That is our message, and that's why we do all of this. And again, we thank you all for joining. We love to educate people, and really we want to shape generation, shape mindset, and really show that a lot of things are possible if we only do the first thing we talked about, upskill for it, positioned correctly. And we would also talk about how to navigate some of the challenges, which are real things, systemic racism, bias. There's a lot, right? Not really understanding the cultural differences, employers not wanting to take a risk and hire someone without local work experience here in Australia. So there's so many, we can go on and on and on. But the thing here is that whilst you may be doing that job and you need that to settle, you need to ask yourself, is this job aligned with my long-term career path? If it's not, then you need to make plans. Some people may say, oh yeah, it's impossible to get back on my career. We say it's a lie because that is not true. That is not true. You may have gotten that advice, you may have tried a few times and given up. We say that is not true because we've helped all sorts of people here at Sing Skills to get back on career. I'm happy that some of them have actually joined this call, which is exciting. So thank you. So that is really what I want to, speak to in terms of job versus career. Don't just look at the money you're making now. You need to think about long term, that career path that would help you get that leverage and increase your value. You need to try to get back there. Speaking about the Australian economy, it's important for everyone to understand the system where they operate. So if you're here in Australia, or you're in the UK or in Canada, it still applies. But just speaking to Australia today, there's a chronic skill gap here in Australia in all sort of industry. Like if you turn on the news, I'm sure you may have heard, right? They always look, and that's why they always need immigrant like us to come into the country. But they have also failed us in terms of the type of support that they provide to us. So now we bring lawyers, accountant, doctor, surgeon, so many skilled people, but we don't help them settle into the economy, into the country. Why? So many services are termed only accessible to citizens and permanent residents, and a lot of people maybe are just on a temporary work visa, and that becomes very challenging. Now you see so many immigrants working in skill levels below them, and then because of so many issues that I also touched on earlier and listed, they can't really contribute optimally to the economy of the country. So we would always be in this situation where Australia has skill shortage or skill gap. And what does skill gap mean here? Employer needs skills, set of skills, whether in IT, construction, hospitality, whatever. Skills means you can do, you can perform, you can add value in this particular industry. That is what the employer wants, that skill. However, there's a disconnect in terms of what is available in the market, right? There's no, the skill level in the market is not matching up with what the employer actually wants. And for all the reasons that I've said, you know, systemic issues, integration issues for immigrant, visa issues, so many things. So many skilled immigrants are not able to contribute and really optimize and do the job where they can actually add value. That's why you can see some doctor driving Uber. All right. And you can see some people that have so much experience in banking, they are cleaning, right? Or you see a GP, but they are doing cleaning work, which is sad. So we are positioning to change that, because for us, for our collective future, if we want to live here for a long, long time and call Australia home, we would always, at some point, hopefully we all become citizens, right? This is now our second country, at least for majority of us. The truth is, when the economy does not grow, right, and where people cannot find jobs that matches their skill level, there will be loss of productivity, and the impact on the economy is that we would go into recession. Some of you may see recession as a abstract idea. Oh, you just hear, oh, Australia is on the brink of recession. When recession happens, a lot of things go bad. Interest rate, company will start to lay off people. Things are more expensive to produce. There's a lot of things. Your house rent will go up, or your mortgage, or all of those things will become more expensive. That is why productivity, having option, having competition in the market, producing more as a country, all of those things is what makes a country more prosperous, right? And makes the country grow. At the end of the day, for us as immigrants, the question you must ask, why the Australian government will value you, is only when you produce enough value, which is you produce enough value to them, you're productive, you're paying more tax and all of those things, they'll value you. Right? Even if it gets to a point where maybe you have visa issues, but do you know that if you provide so much value that the country cannot lose you, they would give you visa. That's how much it is. And I share my story. I'm still on a temporary visa, and I speak to so many people who even have citizen PR, and they are worried. Or let's say even work visa, maybe, and they are 491 visa, things like that. They are worried. Oh, I might be able to get jobs, and those are legitimate worry. But I say start from building your skills. Many of them are happy. I've had that conversation with, are now working, and it's amazing. But the point is, when you increase your value so much, it doesn't matter about visa. It doesn't matter about they will find a way to say, oh, we're giving you this special visa, whatever, to continue to help us out and all. Or you must be able to focus on increasing yourself, upskilling to a point where you're you're contributing massively, that they will break rules for you. Now, let's talk about state of play. In line of what I'm talking about, July this year, we were the only black owned company that had the opportunity to showcase our product, Oloja Hub, which is a product to help immigrants, start, grow, and connect with their customers, immigrant like us. So it's like a marketplace. So if you're looking for those African unique product and services, you'll be able to find it on Oloja Hub. And if you're a service provider or you have a business, you can list it on the platform. So we went to Canberra and we were the only company out of like 52 companies like Google, LinkedIn, Facebook. There's so many big companies, Amazon, that came to showcase their product here. If you look at this picture, you will see just Sync Skills team are the only black people you would even see in this picture, right? That is to show you how much diverse, like how even though Australia is a multicultural community, blacks we're still very like the minority in some rooms that matter, and we want to change that. And that's why we have these conversations. So today, only 3% of African immigrants are represented in the tech sector. Tech sector is an high growth sector. Now, if you want to, like read a book, I read a book recently, and the book is from Dennis. So basically, it is a book written by the only billionaire that wrote a book, and it's such an interesting book. How to be rich. Basically, that's the book. You may say I'm cheeky. Noah is reading about how to be rich. Yeah, yeah, I am. Um, that's the truth. But the key point here is that if you want to be rich, if you want to make money, just like me, I want to make money, you have to go where there's demand, where a growing sector. All right. It's just like people mining. If you're mining somewhere, mining mineral resources, all those, stuff, when you're done, you don't want people to know where you're getting all those minerals, right? So people don't crowd it. So the point is, if you want to make money, you need to go to an industry that is growing. Tech is a growing industry. It would always continue to grow. You just need to look around. So basically, we're saying that, hey, there are a lot of opportunity in tech that you can explore as a growing industry. It will continue to grow. And next slide is just fact. I want to speak in fact. In Australia, in Australia, by the year 2030, Australia wants 1.2 million tech workers. Is here, according to Tech Council Australia, they do research about what they need, the skill shortage needs in the tech sector. 1.2 million tech workers are needed. The whole of Africans in Australia were about less than 500,000, right? So even if all the Africans in Australia want to be in tech, which is not possible, we are still not like halfway in there. So what I'm trying to buttress here is that there's a lot of opportunity. Just for some of the people that say, hey, some tech roles are saturated. Again, it goes back to the skill. Tech role is not saturated. Companies just have a higher demand. Like they're not just hiring anybody that just does one training or one reading and that's it. The standard are higher. It's back to pre-COVID levels. In COVID, because everything is online, anybody that just did a bootcamp or just did a training online and know the definition of something can be lucky and get a job and figure the rest out. Now, the bar are higher. So they want real skills and experience. So back to the question, is this saturated? This is the data to tell you. We're speaking fact here. 2030, 1.2 million tech workers. Since skills, we've I think we're almost like picking 500 in the community. So even if all of us get a job, it's still like a drop in the ocean. 500 to 1.2 million. Think about it. There's massive opportunity for the people that will build their skills and experience. And that is fact. So for us, our mission, the core of our mission is to help passionate Africans. We are always clear about passion and your own reason why you want to transition. It's not a trend, as we've said and established. It's not a trend. It's not like, oh, my friend just got a job last week. Wow, now I'm motivated in the moment. I want to go learn. Did you ask your friend all the ups and downs, all the things they had to do, all the Netflix they had to starve themselves of watching, right? They will not tell you, because we can be very quick to see success stories and just be motivated in the minute. You have to have a broader vision. Is this truly what I want to do? But the good thing is, for us, we don't just train you. We provide all the framework as skills to help you get a job. And we say it's a one-time commitment for life, because going back to our mission, we want more people to be part of the population in the tech sector here in Australia. We want to increase that 3% to at least 5%, 10%, 5% by 2025. All right. We're happy with the progress. It's still slow, and that's why we do all these webinars educating people of what is possible. Is it challenging? Oh my goodness, it is. Some people say I'm overwhelmed, right? It's okay. As we've said, resilience. You can be overwhelmed, but of course, just like you, the first time you drove a car, I was scared, like I was really, really like terrified. But now I can drive like anywhere, really, even trailer by myself. I'm still comfortable, right? Especially in Australia, where it's not chaotic. So the point here is that we only work with passionate people. We're always clear about that. It is not for everybody. It is simply for only the people who are ready to change their life. It goes back to, why do you want to do this? Does this align with your career path, or something you've been thinking, or something you're willing to invest your time and energy? Trust me, you can learn anything. We've seen people who are doing care, people that have never worked before are now working as business analysts through what we do as skills. I tell you, no jokes. And people can quickly call me out here, if I'm telling you lies. So we've helped all sort of people, zero experience in tech or ever worked. Some people have never worked. It's so bad. Some people have not really used computer a lot, right? Where we get to even say, oh, this is how to build a professional Word document, professional PowerPoint document. We start from there. So it doesn't matter what you know or don't know. The point is, are you ready to commit the hours to learn and go? But for us, we always say it, hey, it's about your passion. You have input you need to put in there. Just like if you want to lose weight, go to the gym.
Um, is it just me? Audio, I think.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. As I was saying, can you hear me now? Yeah, so oh, you still can't hear me.
Do you want to disconnect from the microphone?
Yeah. What about now?
No. All right, I'll get you to sort that out.
Oh,
And yes, all good.
can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so basically what I was trying to say is that for us as skills, it's really about people who are ready to change their life, because it's a life-changing journey, and it's not rosy like, oh, I'm just gonna cruise. If you cruise through anything, I tell you, I can bet you should be questioning it. Like if there are no like moments where you're like, oh my God, there's so much I'm learning, right? If it's not a bit difficult, then it's not worth doing. Trust me, the upside of it is not enough. So if you're doing easy things every day, you should be asking yourself valid question. Am I really taking enough risk to change my life? So here we're really calling you to change your life, not to just come and do another training, another training. No, that's not what we're about. So we want to only work with passionate people who are ready to change their life, and we've done that successfully. I'm so proud. Like, I'm sure that since skills team see more job offers in Australia than any company. Like every week we see job offers. Last week, 3 job offers, and we're always doing reference check, which is incredible, and that means life change, right? So the joy for us is, so just thinking about things that are hard. For example, I want to I want to be a podcaster and a YouTuber, and a trainer from next year, right? So, like, if I do a video right now and I'm getting like 10 likes, 5 likes, uh 200 views on TikTok every single day, no matter what I do, is it hard? Think about it. Is it hard? It is. Sometimes, like, is this worth it? I know how many views I'm going to get at the end of, no matter what, no matter how I script this, no matter how much I show up and shoot it and edit it. This thing, I say, algorithm will give me my 200 views. For me, it doesn't matter. But I said it is a 10-year project for me. I'm not doing it for fame or whatever. I want to do it to educate, to spread the message. That is my goal. And I have that commitment that I'm going to do it for 10 years and watch if I'm going to be successful or not. So failure is nothing. When I have that mindset, you can't tell me I failed. I just say, wait for 10 years. So we started since skills. How many people, right? When we started, think about, nobody knew us. Today, a lot of people know us at least, but not enough. But we're working every single day. So the point is, whatever you start, it will be tough. Now, days you question it, like, what is the point? But the point is you keep going. Resilience, as we spoke about earlier. So, yeah. So our mission is very important to Tayo. I think that's me. Thank you. And if you have
Thank you, Noah.
questions, please pop it in the chat as well. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. I've just seen some new faces as well. So if you've got any questions, by all means, leave us a comment and we would certainly pick that up. And if you've got, if you wanted to tell us where you're dialing in from as well, that'd be really good. But just on the layer of what Noah said, I think it's extremely important that we recognize the fact that there's going to be things that you're doing for the first time in your life, and that may come off as daunting, that may present as difficult. It's fine. It's not because you're not the smartest, or it's not because you simply don't know what you're doing. This is assuming that you're putting in the work. It's simply because it's new and your brain is just trying to put a face to what we're doing. Your brain hasn't registered that particular thing yet. But with repetition and constant doing, definitely you would perfect it. And that's, for us at Synctives, it's been one of the biggest driver. What we say is there's power in repetition. Anything that you really, really believe in and you want to do it for sure, if you constantly do it, you will definitely eat perfection. There are things that I do today that I never thought I would do. And that has not just happened overnight. It's a compounding effect. I always say the 1% rule works all the time. It's just you put in that, you do it every single day, it compounds, and eventually you would get to where you need to get to. So please, extremely important. All of these things that we're sharing with you, they're real life stories, they're things that we've been through as well. And we just really want someone to benefit from it. Now, with that understanding, we have learned about upskilling, we have learned about the trait, we have learned a lot of things about the laws of professional success and the things that you need to keep in mind, which is knowledge and skills, which will then cascade down to you having the network effect, you being able to get resources, and you being able to really get the reputation that you want as a result of the knowledge and skills that you've acquired. But we also recognize that there are some myths and some misconceptions out there. There's lots of limiting beliefs that you may have been fed. I, for example, when I came into the country, I was informed that Nigerians would only do a certain type of work. And at some point, I almost believed that because all the people that I knew at that point in time were working in a particular sector, and everyone would complain that, oh, this is the only thing we do, this is what is available, and all of that jazz. So I want to use this opportunity to debunk some of those things. And Tosin will take us on that journey of talking to us about some of these limiting beliefs or some of these myths that you may have seen, or that you may have heard of. And if you've heard of some of these things, please leave us a comment, and we'll definitely we'll pick it up and answer any of your questions. So over to you, Tosin, when you're ready.
Thank you very much, Tayo. Hello, everybody. I'm sure by now everyone must be really pumped. Everyone by this time must be really, you must be really energetic to actually take the next step to catapult your career to the next level, right? But I'm here today to talk about, some of the myths that we've been fed and some of the things that a lot of people have actually told us. Like, for example, just like Tayo. In fact, when I landed in this country, the job that we all know the job that people usually go after, right? The job that people go after in the location that I was told that it's not even possible to get that kind of job. In fact, I was told that it's not even possible to get a job at all, right? Yeah, obviously, at that stage, in that environment, it was very hard, but it took me only 2 weeks to actually get my hands on something, right? To start working. And then I had to prove them wrong again after some time and actually got something more professional, right? So I'm sure it must have been fed with lots of stories. It's, a lot of people might have told you, oh, it's very difficult, or there's so much competition, or maybe in the location where you are, some people might have told you, oh, it's only white people that get jobs here. Trust me, that is not the case. And you can actually break whatever it is that, everyone has fed you, or whoever it is has fed you. So a few things that I just want to note here is, first of all, the disability sector. A lot of people, and I'm going to call it out. A lot of people say, oh, this is the only type of job you can actually get when you come into the country. Again, I'm not going to talk down on any job at all, because at the end of the day, there's dignity in labor. As long as you're not going to steal, or as long as you're not going to, you're not getting money illegally, you're working for it, right? That's okay. But we're here to tell you that you can achieve more, that there is more to achieve. You need to maximize your potential. A lot of us have come into the country, and some of us are here permanently or temporarily, and some of us are actually on skilled visa. And you see a lot of Nigerians, or a lot of, migrants coming here on a skilled visa, and then they end up doing something completely different, right? Which doesn't really align. So we are here to tell you that you can come in skilled and also work as a skilled person in this country. And all you just need to do, the first step you need to take, which Noah and Taya have overflogged today, is to make sure you take the right step by upskilling. That's the first thing. The first thing is not thinking about money, or is not thinking about the benefits, which, flexibility. I know Taya has mentioned all of the benefits that comes with it, flexibility and all of that. But remember, the first thing is to have the right mindset. And to have the right mindset is to say, why exactly do I really want to do this thing? Because if your mindset is wrong, then you probably might not even end up getting to, whatever goal you've set for yourself. So first of all, correcting your mindset, then knowing that the first step you have to take is actually to upskill yourself to attain the skills that would actually get you to land that offer or to land that job. And we're going to talk about some of these skills very soon, but just a few things that I just wanted to demystify. Tayo, please, can you go to the next slide? Thank you. So a few things that some people have said is, oh, you hear a lot of stories that, oh, it's too hard, oh, I'm not on the right visa, or I don't have a flexible visa to land me a job, or have a regional visa, or I don't have experience in tech, I don't know how to code, and all of these different stories, right? So we can tell you that we've proven everyone wrong over and over again. Like now, I've said, we've had hundreds of offers over the last 2 years, right? And just last week we had 3 offers. So every week we keep getting up, and I'm sure this week we are still going to get offers as well because we've got some things in the pipeline, right? So if you think it's too hard, first of all, you need to change your mindset. You don't need to learn how to code. I don't think we've had any student at all who has successfully transitioned that actually knows how to code, right? I didn't know how to code when I transitioned, right? And I'm sure it's the same for Tayo and every other person that has, transitioned, right? So you don't need to you don't need to know how to code, or you don't need to, be very techy. All you just need to do is to, get the right skills. And starting to get the right skills is by inquiring what exactly are the right skills that I need to upskill or to get myself to that level where I'm actually valued, or where I go for an interview and I can actually stand out, right? And some people say, we've heard of Nas experience, is he doesn't have that flexible visa, but he's actually able to work from the confines of his home. He has that flexibility. He's been able to get multiple roles as well, right? So don't let your situation deter you, right? Don't let whatever situation you're in actually, don't out. Some people will say, don't let your background put your back on the ground, right? So don't let your situation deter you. Ensure that you go against the odds, and you put your mind on the goal, or you put your eyes on the prize, right? So a lot of people talk about previous experiences and, oh, I mainly have experience working in the finance sector, or I mainly have experience working in this particular sector. The good thing about working in tech is that every sector actually has some form of tech in it. So can anyone raise up their hands if you've actually worked today and you've not interacted with technology? If you've not interacted with technology today, please raise your hands. Technology is everywhere, right? On the jobs, they use it to improve business processes everywhere. So technology is something that the world cannot do without. Whether you're working in the health sector, or you're working in banking and finance, or you're working in engineering, agriculture, the world is actually going digital. And that's why we have roles like business analysts, product owners, scrum masters, project managers that help to actually shape these products, right? And this is what we are telling you guys, to come into the space that is thriving, right? In the next 5 to 10 years, a lot of organizations will keep ensuring that they get up to speed with all of the latest trends, all of the latest technologies, and they have them implemented within their systems to ensure that they have efficient processes. And they require all of these different roles that I've mentioned. So the first step is you need to ensure that you get the right skills, upskill yourself so that you can be really valuable. Go against the odds that this is too hard. I'm sure, everyone has studied at some point, and everyone has gone through uni at some point, right? So you've gone through school, you've educated yourself. Some people keep upskilling every day, right? So you've got, Tayo, please, can you go back to the slides? Yeah. So you've gone through uni, you've gone through school. So don't think it's hard. Change that mindset, right? So I mentioned already, your existing skills can be transferred. So if you worked in finance, for example, you can take whatever knowledge and whatever experience that you've gathered working in the financial sector and work as a business analyst or project manager, working in digital solutions, actually offering digital solutions to your organization, and your domain knowledge will stand for you when you get on that job. All right, so Tayo is going to take us through a very, very interesting story. And this one is I really want you guys to pay attention because I'm sure it will definitely touch somebody there. But this one is very special for us here at Sing Skills because we're able to actually see through from where this person was in their low moment up until when, they got to a stage where they were really happy, they had this flexibility, and it extremely changed their life, 360 degrees. So Ty, over to you.
Thank you, Tosin. First of all, I think it's extremely important that everyone would really fully gain an appreciation of when we say things are hard or things are difficult or no code tech rules, coding required, etc. I said to people, yes, at Sing Skills currently today, we offer and support you with no code tech roles. You can genuinely build your skills and you don't need to worry. But even if you find yourself in a situation where you're required to learn how to code, you simply can do anything so long you have the interest, so long it is really goes back to the calling, so long it is exactly what you want for yourself, you're doing it for all the right reasons. Because I think that oftentimes people are so like we are also in that bubble of, hey, I don't want to do these things because it's too hard. Like nothing is hard except you don't really want to do it. For every single person on the call today, if you think about the first time you ever did anything that you do brilliantly well today, I'm sure they are completely different. So as an example, like if you wanted to use the driving as an example, the first time you drove a car versus now, I'm sure that would be different because the first day you've never done it before, it's new, it's a new territory, uncharted territory for you, versus today where you've pretty much driven almost every day of your life. What am I trying to say? It gets easier. So once your mind is set, you are fixated on it, just as Tosin said, and like you've really connected to why do I want this? Is this truly for me? Once the answer is yes, again, practice the old question and answer. I want to become a business analyst. Don't say that. Ask yourself, do I want to become a business analyst? If you cannot get yourself a direct yes, then perhaps you need to explore something else. Anything that you want to do, ask yourself, oh, I want to go to the gym. No, do I want to go to the gym to build or increase my my fitness or enhance my health? As an example, you can do that self-check, yes or no. Once you get the no, okay, yeah, perhaps you're doing the wrong strategy. So it's always very important that we don't see the impossibilities, but rather you need to focus on how you get there. How you get there is key. What are the steps that you need to keep in mind to get there? And the journey to upskilling and the journey to excellence, on the journey rather to doing all of these things, it would require you to give something, whether or not it's your commitment, whether or not it's the things that you currently do right now, Netflix, social media, all of those things. You think about it and you would definitely achieve it. But I'm going to tell us a very, what do I call it? This story is very inspiring to us, like Tosin said, like this is like very personal for us. And when I think about this person, I'm using a pseudonym, so but the name starts with J anyway. When I think about him and his journey, I see a story of tenacity. I see a story of someone who had a lot of grit and someone who was so passionate and they were so sure of what exactly he wanted. Now, this person gave us a call and said, hey, I've heard about you guys. This is my, literally, he didn't even go into the sub story, he just said he wanted to develop his skills to become a business analyst. And I had joined week 4 of the class. Now it started, and of course, I always imagined because this person was so busy, it was like super busy. He had 1,001 reasons to not come to the training. But against all odds, whenever, even if he was driving, he would tune in and listen. He would park, do his presentation. He would be at the airport lounge. He would do assess. Like he just kept on doing things. We were so inspired. At that point, we didn't even know his full story. All we saw was someone who was so dedicated to the program, and despite his busy schedule, it was really, really it was this or nothing for him. It was very certain. But then when we got into the full details of this person, I would always reference him anywhere I go to. When he got a job, as a business analyst with an insurance company in Melbourne. It then went into the details of, you guys probably would not have a clue of what you've done to me. And I was like, wait, what does that mean? Run me through, like, what's going on in your mind? And he said, actually, this is my journey. I have had to travel interstate for years, working as a youth worker. Now, just like a lot of people on this call, he wasn't just doing one of those jobs. I think he had about 3 of those, because again, to earn 6 figures in that sort of sector, you need to cramp about two or three of those jobs together. So he was doing that as well. Now, it was time, of course, to get married and do all of those beautiful things. And reality kind of started to set in, like, hey, I'm going to get married. We're going to start to build a family. We're going to do all of these things. I do not think this life, I do not think I want to replicate this current life when I get married. I don't want a life where I'm in Melbourne, or my wife is in Brisbane, or I'm in Sydney and my wife is in Tassie, all in the name of trying to make ends meet. So for him, it was very, very personal. Now, but that's not even like the biggest thing. I mean, it's big, but that was not even the biggest thing. He always spoke about his mom, but it made more sense when he said it was the only child. And to be honest, that gave me a lot of goosebumps, because when his mom came to Australia, relocated to Australia, he said, my mom said to me, Tayo, when I lived in Nigeria, I had more time to spend with you over the phone than I've ever had living in Australia in the same house with you. And that statement broke him completely. It's the only child. His mom had done every single thing to ensure that he's got a good life. Now, they literally live in the same house. And the mom said, I saw you more when I was overseas, when we would talk on WhatsApp, on FaceTime, than I do now that we live in the same country. And that was just the end for it. That was the breaking point for him. Like, nah, I would not sacrifice the relationship with my mom. I would not sacrifice my new relationship with my wife. For what? And every time I think about it, it now made sense why his energy was so high. Why for him, it was this or nothing. He knew he had to do it. He was very laser focused. All the assessment, he would turn in every single thing that he was required to do, despite his busy schedule. He did every single thing because he wanted to change 2 things. He didn't want to burn bridges or burn relationship with his mom because he needed to make money, and he wanted to make his missus happy. And now he welcomed her baby. Like he said to myself and I said, oh, you guys, I'm the first person I'm sending the pic. He sent us the picture. That is how grateful he is. I remember when he got his first salary, he sent 10%. We were like, nah, no, it's okay, please. And that's to tell you that a lot of things go on. And this is exactly why we do what we do, for people like that. So they have hope. So they know that they do not need to lose their relationship. They do not need to pay. For you right now, the question is, what price am I paying for the job that I currently do? Are you paying with your family time? Are you paying with your health? What price? At what price does that come? So very important, but this is not a soft story. This is literally real life. And if you've listened to some of our YouTube podcasts, you would have heard him share the story time and time. I just really wanted to, again, nail the fact that for us, it's a lifestyle. For me, I live for people like Jay. So they know and believe that their family would not be torn apart as a result of where they found themselves just to make money. So with that understanding, we're going to move into the next part, and Tosi is going to run us through, okay, so they have spoken about the jobs, they have spoken about people, coming to Sync Skills, and as a result of the skills that they've developed and as a result of the work that we've done, they now go out there and start to work in roles such as business analyst, Scrum Master, product owner. What is the dollar value for all of these things that they're talking to me about? And more than these salaries, I'm sure Tosin would share with you what the other perks that comes apart from just, the pay that you would originally start with. This is a role where you progress with upwards of 5,000, 10,000, not a role where they're adding $1 or $2.8 to your income. So please, over to you, Tosin, when you're ready.
Thank you, Tayo. So you may be wondering, what sort of value do I even get from Sync Skills when I enroll and I upskill and I'm diligent through the process and then I finally get a job? What sort of value do I actually attract from organizations, right? And while we have said, and emphasized that money shouldn't be a motivating factor, we also need to point out that, when you upskill, you attract value, and with value comes money, right? So remember, money shouldn't be the driving factor. Value, upskilling and value should be, right? So citing seek.com, and again, just to mention, when you actually train with Sync Skills, we don't train you for junior roles, right? So we've had students who have finished and, become business analysts. We've had students who have actually become senior BAs, project managers. In fact, we've had students become principal business analysts, right? So if you check on the scale of things where a principal business analyst sits, like it sits high there, making strategic decisions, right? So you may be wondering, okay, how much? How much? Because I know some of you, even if we overemphasize and say money shouldn't be the factor, some of you are still there tapping your fingers. How much is it? So citing seek.com as a Scrum Master, because we don't just train you to become a business analyst. After our training, you can function as a Scrum Master. We've had students actually land senior Scrum Master roles, right? You can function as a Scrum Master, as a business analyst, or as a product owner, or even as a project manager. So you can see Scrum Master, the average salary on seek.com is 125,000. As a BA, the average salary is sitting at 130K. As a PO, same thing, 130K. And if you are lucky enough to get a PM role, you can be getting anything upwards 140,000. So tell me, if you work 3 jobs in whatever low-skill job you are working, tell me, is it possible for you to earn this? I'm looking for one person to just raise up their hand and say yes. Is it possible? I don't think it is. Because I even remember back then when I was still working a low skill job, right? I was working 2 jobs and it was even difficult for me to earn 100,000, right? Working, 100 hours, 120 hours a fortnight, having no time for my family, right? So apart from even the financial gains there, we are talking about so much flexibility as well. Like you have the opportunity to just sit back at home and work from the confines of your home. A lot of times, I'm sure when we work from home, I was telling Tayo, was it last Friday or so, that the work I'm supposed to do today, I've actually already done it in the evening because I'm looking at actually channeling my time today to do something more valuable for myself, right? So you are in charge of your time, and that's what Noah has emphasized so far. When you go to that job, out there, and you have to be in person. Maybe you're working in maybe a warehouse or something. You have to be there in person. You are trading your time. Even if technically, yes, as a business analyst, you're employed, yeah, you still have to give your time, right? But at least you have some reasonable level of flexibility, right? You have some level of flexibility. So apart from, the flexibility, the money, the sanity, the innovation that comes with it as well, right? So you just get to innovate, you feel more, trust me, it lifts your mental well-being as well. Because the more you innovate, the more fulfilled you become. And the more fulfilled you become, the more healthy you become mentally, right? So you need to realize that it's not just about, your health, even the physical health as well is there, right? You see some people drive long distances just to go to work. Some people, they are finishing one job and immediately they are driving to another one, right? So your health, you need to consider your health as well. How long can you do that? I tell people, project for the future. If it takes you 3 months to leave your job just to successfully transition, if that's the sacrifice you have to pay, Project 10 years from now. What you're doing now, is that what you want to keep doing 5 years from now, 10 years from now? You keep procrastinating. Okay, at some point I'll make the decision. It's not going to fall to you on your laps. You need to put in the work. Nobody is going to come to you and just place a professional job on your lap. You need to consciously make that decision and say, yes, this is the time I want to upskill, right? I want to have time for my family. I want to have time for my children, right? So it needs to be something that comes consciously, right? You need to identify what exactly do I need to sacrifice to actually make sure that I successfully transition and I successfully, land this kind of roles that would make me innovate, add value, work flexibly, and all of these specs that come with it. So, Taya, can you move to the next slide, please? So again, thank you for that. So looking at, we've overemphasized and said, right, there are certain things you need to acquire, certain skills you need to acquire in order for you to add value. And because if you don't attract value, then nobody is going to pay you 140,000 to work on a job. Nobody is going to employ you to a job where they allow you to work flexibly because they actually value you, right? All right, so very quickly, we're just going to talk about the skills that you actually need to be successful on the job. And these are some of the things that we upskill you with during the training process, right? Communication, we ensure that we sharpen your communications. I know a lot of us here are really good communicators, and communication skills encompasses not just talking to somebody, but also active listening, right? Written communication, right? It covers it as well. We teach you skills on conflict resolution and negotiation. They are very important on the job to function as a business analyst or product owner or scrum master, and all those, strategic roles, no-code tech roles in tech, right? Your problem-solving skills. And this could just be, something that's logical. A lot of us make decisions every day. And we don't just make decisions without thinking. We think about it logically. Okay, what do I do now? What do I do? Prioritization, right? Creative thinking, analytical skills as well. I'm just rushing through because I know we are almost out of time. And yeah, team building as well. We ensure that you work in a team so that you can sharpen and upskill your team building skills as well, right? Facilitation. Some of us already do it, probably in maybe at church or, even maybe communicating with our friends. You see some of us actually go to parties and our true character actually comes out there. We facilitate events even without even knowing it, right? So facilitation skills as well. Some of us already have most of these skills, but we are just telling you, okay, let's bring these skills. These skills are transferable. Bring them. Let's teach you how to actually apply these skills on the job to function in building innovative products, right? So I'll hand over to Tayo to run us through the next thing on the agenda. Thank you.
Brilliant. Amazing. Thank you so much, Tosin. We're almost at time, so we're just going to breeze through a couple of things. But before I come to some of our tech stars, some of their success stories, which is a testament to the fact that ability to upskill and thrive is not a myth. I've got something really interesting to share with you all as well. And you may be on this call for the first time and you may be wondering, hey, what exactly would Sync Skills do to help me put a system in place to achieve my goals? That is assuming that you've made that decision that you want to become a business analyst, or you want to become a product owner, or you want to become a scrum master. Now, for us, like Tessin hinted a little bit when he was giving us the explanation of who a business, like the dollar value and all of that jazz that you would get. For us, it's a strategy. We do not sell magic. We do not sell anything. We do not simply say, hey, you're going to get a job 10 weeks post your training, because that simply doesn't happen. It's a framework, and this framework has helped people in hundreds. So I ask you to please listen, and please just pay attention as I walk you through what the life cycle of a typical Think Skills student is, and I would support you through that journey of one. We've emphasized and spoken a lot about skills today. I don't want to be the black girl at work that doesn't know what she's doing. I do not want you to be the black man at work that doesn't know what he's doing. If people see you in a meeting, like, oh, that guy is on my project, nah, I don't want him. You don't want to be that person. And that can quickly happen if you focus on the wrong things. When you have the skills to perform effectively on the job, you would be the celebrity of the project. All I said is just some meetings that would simply not hold today. If tired, the senior BA is not around. It's the truth, because there's no point having the meeting, because there's lots of information that I owed. There's lots of things that I need to say to them that would inform the decision that they would have to make. If you're simply in a place where with or without you, I mean, no one's indispensable, but in the context of, like where you're actually working and there are some key decisions that needs to be made as a result of the work that you've done, they would all done until you're there. So you can support them with helping them to really, really deliver something that will have value to them. And that's why for us at Think Skills, the biggest and the first focus is build your skills. And we support you through a 10-week training. Now that training is categorized into 2 parts. You attend a Thursday and a Friday class. And I say to people, all I ask for is 6 hours of your time. 3 hours of your time on a Thursday and 3 hours of your time on a Friday, 5 to 8 p.m. Some people sit on their phones. The other day, I think someone was sharing with us, and this was an interesting discovery. He said he spent, I think, 400 hours on playing games. And I thought that was really interesting to hear. So we all spend our time differently today. So I don't think that 3 hours is a lot, but hey, that's the price that we ask you to please pay for this. And we also promise you that would always turn up. So in that training, some of those skills that Tosin mentioned, you would start to develop them. Appreciating that some people have got some of those skills inherently and it's natural to them. Some people have to build it, and that's fine. So as a result of the work that we will do together, you would develop those skills. And you may wonder, how am I going to develop communication skills? Are they going to make me talk every time? Pretty much, yes. You'd have to talk every time in class. You don't need to be a chatterbox like myself, but you'd have to talk. So you would have to present your thoughts. You would have to come to our sessions with a professional PowerPoint slide, with what document, whatever it is the task is. You will then present what you said. I could come here today and read this slide verbatim. We don't want to build business analysts that would go out there and say, so I'm going to talk about Think Skills 3-month roadmap success. 1, 10 weeks live training. 2, would you enjoy that? No. I always say to people, when you're presenting a PowerPoint slide, you need to present and not read to them, noting that your listeners are not visually impaired. They can read. So when you read, they can read what you have. So when you read it to them, it's like, hey, you could have just sent this to us. We don't need this meeting then. You want to explain your thoughts to people and help them to see the bigger and the broader picture. So for us, you begin to build those sort of important skills. How do I communicate effectively? We all talk, but we all don't communicate. And there's a reason why employers or hiring managers will say they want someone with strong communication skills. Because if we all open our mouth and speak, but we all don't communicate. Communication goes beyond just talking about everything in my mind. It has to be structured. It has to be precise. I need to be able to clearly articulate what I want you to understand. I always say to people, 99.9% of the time, you are responsible for how people interpret what you've said. So you always need to be very careful that you do not leave room for ambiguity. Of course, there are some exceptions to that where people are just not listening or they don't have the mental capacity to comprehend it. Those are edge cases. But most times, especially in the professional setting, I would take responsibility for how someone interprets what I've said. I just gotten off a session earlier on with a legal counsel on my project, and she had given a direction on where she wanted us to head on a particular task. And we've done exactly that. But it turned out there were some exceptions she hadn't factored. So when that came up, people were like asking questions. I'm like, hey, I sought legal advice. That's what legal said. And I got on a session with her and she apologized and said, hey, I think, there must have been some miscommunication, da, 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 da. Those things happen. So as a result of this training, you would build your communication skills. You would build your your team collaboration, how to collaborate within the team, how to work within a group. You would build resilience as well. Oftentimes people say, hey, I don't like my group members, and then they would become best buddies. Those things happen as well on the job. You may not necessarily get along with all your team members, but you start to build those skills. On the layer of that, the Friday class is focused on helping you to build your technical skills. What are some of those techniques that you would need? What are some of the framework that you need to have? Again, goes back to skills for you to effectively perform on that job. We don't want to be the African or the Black person or the immigrant that doesn't know what they're doing on the job. Trust me, it simply doesn't look pretty. Now, post that, we do have a framework and a support as well for you to have for you to get your certification. Again, certification is at the bottom there because it simply is not the most important thing. And I like to debunk this today. You cannot substitute certification for skills. The beauty of Australia is when a recruiter, when they give you a call today, they would not say, hey, Tai, have you got certification? Have you got a degree? That's simply not the first priority for them. What they want to find out is, do you have experience working on this as a business analyst, as an example? Can you do the job? If you have all the certifications, good, nice on paper, but you don't have experience, you cannot defend what you've done, they will just respectfully tell you, hey, really lovely to meet you. I will catch up with you. You may never hear back from them. So for us, the first part, your 10 weeks training involves tasks that you'd work on. We always say something, it is not a training. We want you to treat it like a job. When you go to job, a lot of us take our jobs very seriously. I want to believe that we all take the job seriously and we do not go out there and be mediocre. It's the same thing that we ask of you of the training. So it's a job that you're coming to do. Everything that we do simulates your real life experience, what you would be doing on the job. Again, as you may or may not know, for people that are new on the call, we all the facilitators work in Australia and we all work in really in senior roles as well. So we are privy to a lot of things that is requested for a lot of things that people would need. We work very closely with people in the leadership team as well. So we know exactly who their preferred or who their typical candidate is, and those are the people that we build as a result of the training. Now, moving quickly to one of the most important part of what we do. Look, for you to have a chance at succeeding in an interview, we can all agree. Now, I'm not talking about low-skill jobs. Now, I'm talking about when you're referring to jobs like this. For you to have a chance at succeeding in those interviews, it would require a high level of preparation. And that's where we play big role in there. So with you, we would run through different sessions, which includes job strategy session. How can I increase your chances of getting a call back from a recruiter, as an example? So we'd introduce you to tools, would introduce you to techniques, frameworks that would really, really support you, that would make it fun. We had one of those sessions yesterday as well. I think it went for about 3.5 hours. Practical hands-on session, I should add. So we are not just give you theory. The classes are very collaborative. So people on this call can really corroborate what I'm saying. Our classes are collaborative classes. It is not Netflix, as we love to jokingly say. It is not a class where you simply just come and watch. We would be talking together. We leverage a lot of tools like Miro. So as we say something, you get your hands online and try to do the things that we're saying to you. So we try and test your understanding of what you've been introduced to. For every course, it gets better. Because again, we are very iterative with our approach. And for every single thing that we do, we learn from it and make it better. Excellence is at the core of what we do. Every single thing. The first one is going to be as low as it gets. So every single thing, that's as low as it gets. The bar gets higher. We raise the bar. Now, with your weekly, with your resume and launching and go-to-market strategy, as I love to call it, will support you with how to apply correctly. Will support you with there's no perfect resume, but would work with you all the time to ensure that your resume is going to get to the right place. And more importantly, what do you do when the hiring manager calls you? What do you say to them? Which is where a lot of people make that mistake. I think the other day we were speaking to someone and he said, hey, I did a training, a couple of years ago, and I attended a lot of interview, and I was never successful. And we were like, okay, so did you get any feedback? And I was like, yeah, I did. They said something like I wasn't structured in my responses, my replies were all over the shop, things were mumbo jumbo, and it wasn't clear in their minds. Exactly. I would not give you the job as well if I was on that panel. And that's not being mean. So interviews, it can be like, it can go two ways. You can have a lot of fun and it could be a nightmare. For us, we want to optimize you to go there and have fun. And that comes with preparation. So we have weekly sessions where you would come and in your serious form, and we would go through likely interview questions with you. Of course, before that, we would have gone through we would hand you like different templates on how you can structure your responses, leveraging STAR framework, leveraging storytelling approach, being conversational when you're speaking in an interview. So again, it is not just a one-time review of your resume, goodbye, God bless. It is not just, hey, come and do interview, prepare an interview, goodbye, God bless. We're very prayerful, but we also put in the work. The Bible is very clear. The work of your hands will be blessed, not empty hands. So if you don't put in the work, there's really nothing for the angels to bless. So for us, it's a combo. Now, of course, post the training, you do have an opportunity to job shadow. What does that mean? We have a sister company called Jasin Solutions. In there, you get the opportunity to work with software developers. You can learn a lot of things from them, and that can start to strengthen your confidence and help you to build skills, see things. And of course, anything that you do, or something that you've read versus read and seen and actually done it's different. So you would not be speaking from a theoretical point of view, but you would have acquired the skills to speak as a professional, as someone who has got a practical experience. And these things, they are there for a reason. It's so when you go out there, recruiter says, hey, can you tell me XYZ? You are not reciting textbook for them because they will simply not give you the job. No one wants a textbook knowledge. They want, how do you apply? Application is what they look for. So the application is what we support you with. The first part, theory, and then we align that with how you can apply it. Of course, everybody, when you get to when the success story is here, hey, congratulations, you have now gotten the job. We have what we call the day one session. Day one session prepares you for what you can expect when you start working. How do you prepare? What are some of the things that you should or should not say on the job? But it doesn't even end there. When you start working and you have some questions, or you just want to rub minds, or you just want to get insight, or you just want additional support, you would have built yourself a lifelong relationship with the Sync Skills team, except you say, hey, Tayo, no, I'm saying, Rachel, I don't want to hear from you guys again. Then we would say, hey, God bless you, and we would, say goodbye. But if you want to maintain that relationship, it would be at no cost for you. We would still be there to support you even when you get the job. So all of these things, they are what forms our success story. Again, I would not sit here, no member of the team would say to you, hey, you're going to get a job 10 weeks. We'll lay it flat. So that's the part that we play. You also have a role to play in all of this. Commitment, your time. I said to people, if you're not in a position to give this time, then you can't get value. Then I cannot get value either. And I don't think that that's a good relationship to start. So for us, it's all about the value. All of these things forms a part of our value stream. Everything that we do is driven by the value that you receive. The other day, I was talking to a really, really amazing man, and he said to me, hey, convince me. I said, hey, that's not my job to convince you. I tell you what the value is and what we do, and then you can go out there and do that self-conviction for yourself to decide if this is truly what you want. That's simply the truth. Because historically, we've seen people come on board and all of that amazing stuff, and they don't have the right mindset, and that impacts everything. So this is our roadmap. If you would like to learn more, by all means, I think the lovely ladies are popping in some links in the chat. We can definitely discuss with you. If you want to book a conversation with us, we can definitely do that. And we do currently have a class going on, actually. The story that I shared earlier on, he joined, I think that was week 4. Yes, he joined when we were at week 4. And because he was so laser focused, I mean, he had all of those things that I mentioned to you. It caught up. So if you're thinking you want to do this and it's time for you, I can definitely have a chat with you so you could learn more. Again, a couple of the things that I've mentioned speaks to how we differentiate. There's nowhere in the world today that a training provider would be calling you to say, hey, how are you feeling? What's happening with you? I'm calling to check on you, not to talk about the training. You don't get that nowhere in the world. I've spoken to at least 30 people in the last couple of months. They said, oh, they did some training and then they just kind of left them. And after the training, nothing happens. Because we're not driven by what you've paid for you to enroll for the training, but driven by the result, on the reason why you've connected in the first place. So for us, it's the support. The support is one of our biggest driver. We genuinely care for you and care about anyone that comes on board, and your welfare comes first. So anything that is in our power to do to support you, to ensure that you can fully be at your max level, we will do it in our power. Again, which speaks to the empathetic support that we provide. So we want you to succeed. So we want you to be able to attain success. We want you to succeed just so we can as well. It's in and out for us. Again, our mission is quite clear. It's change driven. It's value driven. It's really, I don't want to be the only Black girl at work. Noah doesn't want to be the only Black man at his workplace. Tosin doesn't want to be the only Black person in his division. So there's a whole lot there for us that we're trying to walk through, that we're trying to work together. And I really hope that this provides some more clarity to anyone out there listening and saying, hey, if you're planning to explore this type of roles and you're wanting to do something different from what you're currently doing, I'm telling you that it is achievable, it is possible. But the right system in place, of course, you can do just about anything. And I mean it, anything. It's just the rule of life. So I'm going to hand over to Noah. What have you got for us?
Yeah. So again, you've heard it all. Just thinking about if you want to become a business analyst, a project manager, a scrum master, product owner, we support you with no code tech roles. And what that means is come as you are. All right. We just come with the right mindset. That's all we want you to do. And a lot of people who had zero experience in tech, just to give you, we're really out of time, but just to give you like very quick overview. Businesses needs to solve problem. There are things that they need to solve, whether to improve a process, become more operational efficient so they can improve the way they do things and delight their customer. It may be to replace a system that is bugging them or implement a new system. All of these things are some of the needs of businesses. And there's a need for somebody to analyze, to look at the requirement, to look at what are these things that we want to work on, how can we improve it. And that's where a business analyst come into picture. And there's a lot of engagement, there's a lot of collaboration with people who are going to be working on implementing those changes. And that's why we're saying some of the skills you need is communication, is interpersonal skills. It is being able to negotiate. It is being able to speak to people, be able to document your report of findings. And those are the things that we work on to definitely help you build, and so that you can optimize. When you get to interviews, you're speaking the language that they want, right? And similarly, Scrum Master is really about coordinating the team, coaching them about how to implement what they're working on and deliver fast, right? It's like event planner, gathering all the people that would work on making sure that event goes well, right? But in the context of business and implementing the agile framework. So there's a lot in there, but because of time, we would cap it at that. But the point here is you can do it. Look through our website, a lot of success stories. We would share the recording to this session for you guys that join a bit later or you want to catch up again. and the slide as well. Thank you very much. If you want to sign up today, we've just started a class last week actually, which is an intro. So we've not gone far. We've only just done introduction and shaping the mindset like we like to do and setting expectations. So if you want to take a leap of faith and say, yes, I'm ready. I'm ready to go on that journey. I'm convinced. You can scan this code. Currently, our price is still the same. Next cohort, it will be in the next cohort, there'll be a price change. Unfortunately, everything is going up. Of course, the value is also increasing. So yeah. So basically, you have the opportunity to lock in our old price now, which is, and I've seen so many people come to webinar like this and they're like, oh yeah, still thinking about it. And down the line, they come, the price has changed. They're like, oh, I spoke to you, then I want that old price. Anyway, I'm offering you now the opportunity to lock in the old price. So in the next cohort, you don't say, hey, I want the old price, because then it may not be possible. So for the value that we add, and a lot of people who have gone ahead now, they're earning six-figure salary, is just a bargain. It's a no-brainer, I would say. So scan the code. I think there's a link in the chat as well. And then if you want to look at our website, if you still want clarity, you can reach out to us. Our number is on our website. You can book a call. We'll be happy to go a few things over. And then, yeah, but if you want to join the current cohort this year, you can definitely sign up today. And our classes are Thursdays and Fridays, 3 hours, 5 to 8 p.m. Brisbane time. And 12 weeks of learning can help you build the skills. And then you continue to practice that, build that with our support. You can really change your life in 2025 and be in a brand new career that gives you joy, happiness, and fulfillment. But it's about you making that decision today to ask yourself, with all the information you've gotten, what do I want to do? How do I want to proceed? So we will leave it at that today. But I want to talk to you about value of change, right? Change is constant. It may be daunting, it may look scary, but you must always evolve with the time, improve yourself and increase your value. You do that, you would only always know success. And that is the way I live my life, and a lot of people around me as well. So thank you so much, Tayo. I think we can land the plane now. Thank you, Tosin. Thank you, Tayo.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
all.
everybody. Please join our community. All right. So we pop the chat. You can join us. We also have a dinner event coming up at the end of the year. So if you want to see real life success story, people who are working in tech, that have gone through sync skills, be able to connect with them. We'll share more info in the chat. Just join our WhatsApp group and you'll be able to connect with us. Thank you so much. Tayo.
All right, thank you all so much. It's been a really, really great session with you all. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for all of the kind words in the comments as well. Genuinely really appreciate. If you would like to connect with us, we're on Instagram, Sync Skills AU, literally all of our social media handles, they're the same. So you can find us on social media and we would be more than happy to connect with you, or you could visit our website as well. But we'll leave it at that for this one. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. And if it's
Thank
still
you.
daytime, I hope you
Thank
enjoy the
you,
rest of
Kemi. Kemi joined us. Thank you so much, Kemi.
Thank you, everyone.
Amazing. All right. Bye,
You're
everyone.
welcome. Thank you.
Bye. Yeah.
And thank you. Bye.
Oh, Inyi, thank you as well. Our fantastic people. Okay, thank you.